Hi. Hello. That was amazing, Dylan. That was incredible. Sorry. So, I wrote this book when I was quite young. I think I started it when I was about 9. Forgot about it for a while, and then I picked it up again when I was about 10. And my mum actually got it published for me, and I showed some interest in getting it published, but she's the one who really brought it forward, and she guided me through the whole process. And the illustrations were actually done by my grandma. She's an artist, and she's amazing. And so it's quite personal to me in that way. I wrote it after watching a movie, actually. And it was a movie about a war. I'm not entirely sure which war, but I know it was one in India. And there were and of course, horses were used. It was quite a long time ago, like 1800s, I think. And everything was happening, but all I could really think about was the horses. I was like, what's happening to the horses? They never chose to go to war. Like, what about their parents? What about their family? I'm sure they have a life. I was obviously quite young when I wrote this. And so I think it's really important for children to write at a young age, because things like that, compassion that you feel at a certain age, and the purity of when you're young is so important, especially to look back on in the future, and a way to channel that, because I think as you get older, life gets harder and tougher. So you tend to become stronger and lose a lot of what you had as a child. So writing it out to sometimes the only person who can really understand that is you. So I wrote about a horse, and then there was a girl called Charlotte, and there's a lot of other characters, and there's parents and everything. And I think it was really fun for me to write, and important. So thank you.
Hello. My name is Arush Tandon. I wrote this book when I was very young, at about 9 years old. I actually got these ideas I'll tell you about soon when I was sleeping in a dream. I don't know, the mind of a 9-year-old me was very, very weird. I would say so now. So it's 2 short stories. It's a very short book. It's about this man called Lebowski, and he had a sofa who was very annoyed at him because he kept farting on him. So, and he bit him on the butt. Every single time he did it, because it was very stinky. And so the sofa soon ran away. And the Broski, he came home from work, and he was very tired, and he just sat down and fell. So he says very dramatically. And so the sofa ran, and he went to get a different sofa, but the sofa saw him, and he was touched, because he would see if he would actually care about that old sofa. And yeah, so he went into the shop where he was going into to buy a new one, and he went there as any other sofa, and the Lebowski saw him and was like, "Oh, that's like my old sofa," and he bought him. And as he got packaged into his house, the sofa spoke for the first time, even though he knew that the sofa was very weird because it kept biting him. So, yeah, and they made a deal that he would no longer do that since it was very stinky. And for my second story, it was about. I don't actually have a name for him. I just called him the funny man. Not as in funny as in you would laugh at him, but you would laugh at him because he was so stupid. He only went around on his unicycle, which, well, nowadays it wouldn't be so called as weird, but in my dream it was in that world. So, yeah. Whenever he goes into a shop to get some groceries to eat, he would always mistake the windows for the door because he's that stupid. So, yeah. And when he would always go around in his unicycle, of course, he would make the floors all dirty. And the security would always try to get him out, but some way or another, he annoyed them so much that they just gave up completely. And yeah, soon when he came out, he saw this girl and he thought that he really liked her. And so, like the creep he is, he stalked her. But soon he found out that she was in a gang, which I don't know why I thought of that, but I did. And she was in fact a serial killer who was all around the news. And so soon he still fell in love, but this idea, it came from when I was reading the Mahabharata, and I just found it so weird that a man can go up to some random woman in the forest and propose to her without any backstory. I just found that so weird, so I had to write it. And so that's exactly what he did. And in fact, she tried to murder him, but the police came and got involved and saved him. And from then on, somehow, he became just that bit smarter to actually have a brain. And so that's the end of that story, of getting a brain.